Hello, and welcome back to the Joy Journey podcast. I'm Jillian Shecker. I'm your joy educator, mentor, joy wizard. And today we're kicking off a brand new season with a theme that feels deeply personal to me and really exciting to dive into together. The theme is homecoming. And yeah, September is actually my soberversary month, 10 years this September. 23rd, 10 years of choosing myself, my well being, my joy, and 10 years of homecoming over and over again. Even as leaders, we're not here to be perfect. In fact, we're probably more imperfect than anyone else, the self-declared leaders, because we are learning and relearning and learning all of the lessons alongside everyone else. Because the truth is, we are actually all here to lead. We are here to self lead, I would say, first and foremost, and then ideally inspire others rather than forcing, controlling, fixing, or rescuing. Ideally, we are focusing on ourselves. We're doing our very best to align with joy, to feel better, essentially, and remember who we really are. And this often looks messy and it involves forgetting, actually. It actually involves quite a lot of forgetting. So today, I'm excited to share with you what homecoming means to me and what this energetic gets to look like for all of us. Took a little bit of a pause because alignment is queen and it was a busy summer and we moved into our dream acreage and that's been amazing. And there was also places where I just didn't have capacity to do what I had planned to do. And so I believe in honoring that. And so we took a little bit of time and so I'm so happy to be back, to be able to serve from a place of overflow. That's what I believe I'm really here to teach. Let's just do it. Let's dive in. Welcome back. Hey there, it's Jillian, your guide to all things joy. And this is the Joy Journey podcast. Oh my God. Welcome, Joy Warriors. I am so excited to be back fully landed, grounded. It's been such an amazing time. You know, if you're following along on Instagram or social media in general, or even on the podcast, we have moved successfully into a beautiful home, a forest, a magical forest, a little acre of everything that I've always ever wanted. And we are settled in now. And everyone who's kind of visited and family and friends are, holy shit, you guys moved in so fast. You're settled. And I'm like, yeah, we're both well, I've got Cancer sun. David has Cancerian in his chart as well. And home is truly where our hearts are. So it felt really important for us to unpack as quickly as possible. Okay, honestly, there are still boxes in the garage. Well, they're unpacked. We have to do some dump runs. But yeah, that was really important for us. And then I think just really, fully landing here. I feel cozy here. I feel at home now. I feel like I'm planted. Our roots have been planted. Oh, gives me full shivers. Because when I look back, not very long ago, I remember, it was April where we felt like we were being forced to leave. And that did not feel good until we realized that that door was actually closing for us to be able to open up a dream door, literally, and then shift into, it feels like a new dimension. So, little subtle reminder there for you as well is, wherever there are doors closing, could you view it as the universe redirecting you and trust? Step 7 in the joy method is trust. It's the trickiest one, but it's trusting that it's actually unfolding to support your best and highest good. So may we be examples of this, and also knowing that nothing is perfect. In the humanness, there will still be contrast. There are still things that go wrong. It's not always 100%. It's never going to be. That's not what we came here to experience. But it's that reminder that actually we get to feel good. You get to experience your dreams and desires in this lifetime. And I'm hopeful that that's what we are inspiring in you and others who are kind of watching our story. So this month, September, feels like I've been feeling into what is the theme, what's coming through to share. And in all honesty, after a very full summer, and check in with how full your summer was, it feels like homecoming. Actually, it actually feels like homecoming. And especially because this month marks 10 years of sobriety for me, where I chose to come back home to myself. It is a very powerful time, a powerful season. And I'm really excited to actually share more about this experience and what I've learned from it. I'm hopeful and I deeply believe that we don't walk through these fires just to suffer, that we actually experience them in order to glean the wisdom, release what is no longer helpful around it, and share it. Share it to inspire others to do the same. So I'm excited to share more about my sober story and more about what my addiction actually taught me. That will be in a later episode. And then I also just want to come back home to joy and today really just kind of do a bit of an overview of what it means to come home to ourselves. And I think that to me this is really the definition of joy is choosing to come home to ourselves over and over again. And I would say that that is what I call the daily practice, actually. And I call it a daily practice, or, we could call it your daily ritual, whatever it is that you do in order to remember who you really are and feel better every single day. Because joy, as we know, is not just a shiny and bright experience. Joy is all of it. It requires us to feel all of it in order to experience joy because joy is actually who we are by nature. So, what does this require? Well, it requires us to remember it. And that, my friends, is the homecoming. So, when I look back, I can see all the different ways in which I've abandoned myself. And it wasn't always obvious. And if I'm 100% honest, it still happens. Little micro abandonments, if you will, little self microaggressions where I still notice the desire to keep the peace or ensure that others feel comfortable or not make a scene or not upset people or just keep things calm, right? Not to disturb things. So I can still see these little things. I can still see, here and there my people pleaser pops up. I say I'm in recovery, but that also means that we get to practice this over and over again. I can see places where I still overcommit. Where are my overcommitters at? Yeah, overcommitting, saying yes to too many things. I do my very best to renegotiate where I find that has happened because I am just no longer willing to sacrifice my vibration, my well being, or my joy for anything or anyone. And so where I notice it, I will do my very best to course correct. And sometimes there are just lessons, deeper lessons to be learned. But I wonder, yeah, as we explore this season of homecoming together, can you see where perhaps you have left yourself? And here is what that can look like. I kind of compiled a bit of a list because I really want you to be able to see your opportunities to come home. And first, that may require us, just as always in law of attraction, actually, we see the contrast in order to experience the clarity. So, where do you feel like you are in survival mode? Where have you maybe kept everything together for your family, your community, your friends, your loved ones with no space for you? Or maybe it's your work or your team or your coworkers or your bosses, whatever this looks like. Where have you been holding it together at the expense of yourself? And then the next question is, where do you feel the pressure to perform or produce? Where do you feel like your worth is perhaps measured by what you do, which is not uncommon? Hello, human here. So this is normal. But just being able to honestly identify this, where do you think you maybe equate your worth with what you're putting out or producing? And where do you maybe even think of rest as being lazy? Ooh, I just got full shivers. That one came up for me this weekend and has been coming up because I'm pretty much now living in a magical forest and I'm honoring my rest phases. I'm honoring my cycles. I'm honoring my energy even more fully. And it is actually attracting even more abundance, more alignment. I'm more effective. The benefits are gnarly. Okay. The benefits of honoring rest are amazing. That's what I'm saying. Amazing. And it's so interesting how the ego, the critic, will still potentially view rest as lazy and how that's really just blocking our homecoming. So check in with that if that's true for you. Where are you overgiving? Where are you overcommitting? Where are you people pleasing? Where are you making sure that everyone else is okay while your needs are maybe put on the back burner? Just checking in. I got full shivers again. It happens to all of us. Remembering that joy requires compassion. So when these truths land, we just hold ourselves with so much compassion. I see you. I love you. It's all good. Awareness is everything. In all of the joy work that I do, we talk about the triple A formula, and that is awareness plus action equals alignment. So instead of maybe avoiding the truth, we actually welcome the truth. We welcome our heart whispers. We welcome the truth courageously so that we can line ourselves up with joy and actually experience what we're here to experience, which is immense well-being and pleasure and lightness and joy and fun and all of it. But sometimes it requires us to be willing to bring light to the shadows, which can be awkward and really uncomfortable. So I'm just really honoring that. So we're inviting in compassion as you potentially identify where you have left yourself. Where do you numb? Where do you numb out or distract yourself? Maybe it's with scrolling, maybe it's with wine, maybe it's with relationships or drama or freaking Netflix or shopping or gambling or sex, you name it, we can use it to avoid the truth or what's really going on. So just noticing, where are you numbing? Where are you leaving yourself by numbing out in whatever? I was just heard sugar. Um, yeah, man. Like, yeah, sugar. I still crave the mango smoothies. It's harder to get when you live in the country. And what's amazing about that is I've kind of released that. I mean, I released it before we moved, my sugar kind of addiction, but I still notice it come up. I notice it come up when I want to distract myself or when I want to avoid discomfort because, again, it's just human. Where do you or where have you left yourself? Maybe you've been walking through an identity shift and you haven't picked yourself back up yet. Maybe you changed careers or got divorced or someone you love passed, or maybe you're moving through menopause or perimenopause, or you've had a health scare, or maybe you're in a parenting transition. Where have you maybe not honored those identity shifts and now you're just tired? Am I right? Maybe you moved. Maybe you moved and didn't give yourself space to actually recalibrate or rest. Whatever it is, it's all good. It's being able to honor it and acknowledge it so that we can come home back to ourselves. Have you been maybe ignoring the whispers of your body? Yeah, it feels like your energy, your body are whispering or screaming at you. Where are you overriding your intuition? Where are you overriding your hormones? Oh, I just call them hormones. Where are you not honoring yourself, your hormones, your rest cycles until the exhaustion is what is speaking the loudest? And that's maybe what you are hearing now. And again, so much compassion around if this is you, if you can identify yourself in any of these situations. And maybe you're just carrying quiet grief. And this one makes me really emotional, having lost a few family members this year. Maybe you're carrying grief for not only people or places, but maybe lost time, lost opportunities, lost loved ones, lost versions of yourself. And maybe you haven't had the space to feel it or honor it or allow it to move through. And again, this is a form of leaving ourselves because you're not honoring the truth of where you're at for whatever reason. Sometimes it's just too painful. And again, bringing in the compassion for those pieces. So I think aside from all of that, regardless of all the ways we've left ourselves, the past 5 years specifically have just compounded all of this for most of us or all of us. You know, pandemic, global crisis, violence, war, famine, natural disasters, add in the personal losses, add in the health scares, the job insecurity, food insecurity, home insecurity, all of it. It's no wonder many of us are feeling disconnected from ourselves. It's no wonder you've done what you had to do, and you perhaps have left yourself to protect yourself in whatever way that makes sense for you. So I just really want to honor and acknowledge the fact that we've all done the best we can. And I see you and you've done the best you can. And while your critic might be like, not enough, not nah, 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 might call mine Joan. I'm like, bless Joan. And no, I'm bringing in compassion to the table. And so much curiosity for the fact that we're all doing our best. It has been a wild ride, my friends. Again, not even taking account the personal side of things, but just the global what the fuckness is beyond. So, if you recognize yourself in any of this, I just want you to hear that while you might feel really, really far away from yourself and particularly far away from your joy, you're not broken. There's nothing wrong with you. You may just need to or want to or be ready to come back home to you. That is the invitation. And that's what we're talking about all month in the joy realm. So I remember when I feel into all of these examples, I gave them all because I've experienced them all. I share these things so humbly because I move through them as well. When I think about, early sobriety, and I'm going to start off with sobriety because that was where all of the joy work really did begin in terms of bringing this to light and really relying on all of the tools that I've created now for others to support me in feeling sturdy through a lot of wobble and a lot of discomfort. So for me, I remember in early sobriety, it wasn't even the drinking that felt like the problem, actually. It was all of the feelings that were really, really uncomfortable that I realized I was kind of drinking down. It was also saying no to people that I loved and risking disapproval and risking discomfort because I could no longer disregard myself or my truth. Every no felt terrifying because I was people pleasing. I spent a whole lifetime until that point in a lot of codependency, ensuring that everyone around me was okay so that I felt okay. And you recovering people pleasers, I know you get me. You get this. You understand this piece. And the truth is that saying no to others is often saying yes to ourselves. And when we are ready to release the people pleasing, this is what often gives way to the homecoming. And so I just want to honor how uncomfortable it is to friggin' have boundaries and to truth tell and say no and in all of my programs, whether it's one session or 3 months, 6 months, 8 weeks, we have an 8-week joyful living program or a 9-month facilitator program. Everyone who signs up for joy truly walks out the discomfort of people, relationships, situations that no longer fit falling away. And that can be really lonely and painful. And it's probably why a lot of people don't do this work. It's why I call it being a joy warrior, because it takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of courage to choose joy. It takes a lot of courage to come back home to myself. But once you do to yourself, it takes a lot of courage to come back home to yourself. But once you do, woo, my friends, you will never look back. You may falter, you may stumble, but once you pick yourself back up and best friend yourself, befriend yourself, your feelings, and really truly start to honor yourself, it is a next level experience. And yeah, it was probably the greatest thing I've ever done was choose sobriety and choose myself. And in then walking out that discomfort, that was the hard part. But it was absolutely worth it. And perhaps this is the piece that is calling out to you too. I remember when I got sober, I had also started kind of my full-time branding and photography business. And I was working a lot. I was fucking busy. Okay. I now say busy is abundance because I take full ownership for my calendar, my schedule. But at the time, I was saying yes to everything. I was really proving my worth. I look back now and I was in a lot of insecurity around my skills, my gifts and charging. And so I was undercharging because I was unsure of myself. And I was then needing to take on a lot more work. I was saying yes to everything to not only prove that I was good at what I was doing and to say yes, because what if it's gone? So the scarcity mentality, but also because I wasn't charging enough. So I had to do more work in order to meet bills and payments. But what I soon realized, and this is why, this is one of the main things I talk about in all of my joy in business work, is that joy is actually currency. And so overworking because undercharging is not helpful and it's not sustainable. So what I realized was I needed to raise my prices. I needed to risk disapproval with all of the clients that I was working with. I increased my prices to a sustainable rate. I lost some clients. I gained myself. Ooh, shit. I gained myself because I fucking had energy again because I wasn't overworking. So I was able to release that need to please and prove and say yes. And I said yes to me, my energy, my life force. So I was very early on in my career. And I'll never forget that moment because I realized if I sacrifice my vibrancy and my energy, I will no longer be able to do this work. So this is also where I coach people to charge fairly, to charge well, to ensure that you're always serving from a place of overflow instead of sacrifice, because sacrifice is not service. A wise woman once said that. Sacrifice is no longer service. And so if you're sacrificing your energy because you're undercharging, well, that's not going to work. So overflow, overflow, overflow. Okay. I got sidetracked. Go figure. Squirrel. It feels like the busyness piece. Sharing about busyness is self-abandonment. A lot of us use busyness as the gold medal, something to be proud of. I'm so busy. But what ends up happening is we turn into martyrs of ourselves, actually, because when we're so busy, then you start to feel like you're at the mercy of your to-dos. Then you start to feel depleted, exhaustion, potentially burnout. And so you're actually on paper, maybe looking like you're thriving, but in your spirit, in your body, your mind even, you're actually in burnout. Not good. So, what does it look like to honor the truth of this, to take inspired action, and to get back into alignment with who you really are, which is joy and also abundance? What does it look like to come back home to you? Clean up the energy that's murky or sideways. Be honest about where you've been maybe screwing yourself over. And if you're ready to feel better, then welcome back home. So whether you're coming home after falling off the wagon, maybe again in some cases, or maybe you're coming back home from saying yes to too many things. Maybe you're coming back home from not honoring your feelings and stuffing down or numbing the discomfort, the pain, whatever it is. Maybe you're coming back home from disregarding yourself, your truth, or maybe it was just a fucking busy summer. Let's pause. Let's pause together right now. And so if you are able to, I invite you can place a hand to heart. You can close the eyes if it is safe for you. If you're driving, please don't do this, obs. But just if it's safe for you, just take a moment and allow yourself to land. And take a nice, slow, deep breath in, filling up with whatever you most need right now, and exhale with a sigh. Again, breathing in and filling up. Feel yourself filling up with all the lightness, the peace, the joy, whatever it is you most desire. And feel yourself sighing all of it out on the exhale. Feel your shoulders rolling down your back, away from your ears. And just continue to breathe. You can start to wiggle, move shoulders a little bit, starting to give yourself a little bit of room, just a little bit of space today. And just noticing in yourself, if you can at this time, noticing in your body, what are you experiencing? Noticing maybe where you are feeling some tightness. Where are you feeling maybe some soreness, some stiffness? Where might you be feeling some energy or aliveness? Just noticing. And continuing to breathe, matching your inhales with your exhales, allowing your belly to fully relax. fully inhaling, fully exhaling, and gently asking yourself, where in my life have I been leaving myself? And just making some compassionate room for whatever comes up. Where have you been leaving yourself? No need to fix or judge or change, just noticing. And then checking in with, what is one small way I can honor myself today? What is one small way I can honor myself today? Just noticing what comes up, no judgment, just noticing. Maybe it's resting, maybe it's saying no, maybe it's listening to what your body's been whispering. Whatever it is, take one more deep, full breath and releasing it, allowing your shoulders to drop and reminding yourself, you are not broken. You are coming home. Take a nice big breath in, shaking, moving, stretching, coming back to your body fully. And just noticing, what was it like to take just even a couple of minutes to check in with yourself? So many of us don't even do this. We are so swept up in the doing, not realizing that this is a distraction. This is one of the ways in which we're actually leaving ourselves. So that is what this month is about. And we're going to be focusing on simply remembering, making room. Homecoming is not a one-time event. Homecoming is actually the practice of noticing when we've left ourselves and then gently choosing to return. If this conversation resonates today, again, I'm going to be diving in more deeply. We've got amazing guests coming. Oh my gosh, we've got Selena Gray coming in the house this month. We've got my client and certified joy method practitioner, Jody Balcom, coming in. She is so amazing. She has such a powerful story to share around all of it. And I just can't wait to share more and celebrate with you my soberversary on the 23rd. And then there's just more. There's more. There's more. Whatever you need, it's here. And as well, if you do want more, if this conversation really resonates with you, if you've been feeling exhausted or reactive or just like you're not yourself, you just don't feel yourself, I created a workshop. We are having monthly joy sessions going forward. And this one is called Feel Like You Again. Feel like you again. And while we can't necessarily go back to who we were, we can absolutely honor who we are. This is part of the homecoming. I can't wait to walk you through all of it. You can check out the show notes for the link or reach out for the link. We're going to reset. We're going to soften. We're going to realign with the version of you that's been waiting underneath it all. Okay. Realignment. And I'm here to say, if you feel like you've been in that busyness, in that swirl of stress or obligations or overwhelm, you don't have to keep pushing harder. In fact, your ability to pause purposefully, regroup, create a little bit of stillness, a little bit of room for awareness will allow you to actually come back to who you truly are, which is joy and peace and love by nature. You don't have to keep leaving yourself. It is time to come home. You get to come home. Thank you so much for joining me on this homecoming series. I'm so excited for what gets to unfold next. We'll continue this conversation with the most beautiful guests and opportunities and a deeper celebration of sobriety and what that looks like and feels like. So until next time, may you honor yourself, may you trust your joy, and keep coming home. Mwah.